Alexandra Kicenik Devarenne, CEO of Extra Virgin Alliance in the United States, and she'll discuss more than martinis, the future of olives on the American table. Mrs. Devarenne, please.
I'm going to talk today about table olives. Normally I talk about olive oil, but this is a look at some potential for table olives in the American market. I'd like to thank everyone at the Krinos Olive Center, Rotsios College, and all of the wonderful people at the American Farm School. So this is a personal perspective. It's the view of someone from California, California native, which is the center of olive production in the United States, not of Mediterranean background, but I come from a family that ate well. My mother's a wonderful cook. So I'm an American, and I don't have the advantage of having Greek or Spanish or Italian family. So I want to start by showing just where we are beginning here. You can see this is an enlargement of a label of a product from Whole Foods Market. It's an olive oil. And look at this graphic. You can see that the rendering of the olives on the tree include little holes where the pits got taken out. I'm surprised they don't have pimentos in them. So that gives you an idea. We have a lot of work to do. So this is what Americans think of when they think of olives. It's relish, it's garnish, it's not really part of a meal. It's perhaps an appetizer. So the bottom line, I think, is that Americans don't think of olives as being really food. They think of them as decoration. They think of them as maybe as an appetizer, but they're a garnish. The olive in a martini. It's only food if you live in a bar. And also, you know, when they do show up as food, it's normally as a snack or as an appetizer. So that's our challenge. How do we reposition the olive in the American mind and on the American table? So I think one of the biggest helps is going to be the trend towards more plant-based foods. And I know plant-based is silly because Coca-Cola is plant-based. I'm talking about real food, healthy food that is that comes from plants. There's a rising concern about animal agriculture and the impact on the planet, and I don't think that's, you know, America is not unique in that, but it's happening here, and there are more and more people who are shifting away from a meat-centered diet. There's also a lot of awareness of the health impacts of dietary choices. So this is something that we want to also, you know, work with, because olives are a very healthy food. So there's a report from 2018 that shows that American consumption, North Americans eat 90 plus kilos of meat per person per year. Meat and poultry. So it's an extraordinarily large amount of meat. So even a small change in the average American's diet is going to have a big impact. And that's, I think, important. We don't want to say everyone needs to become a vegan, but let's start by cutting down on meat. There's some great programs. The Culinary Institute of America has the Menus of Change, and they've been focusing a lot on what they call plant forward menus, and it's creative, and it shifts meat out of the middle of the plate, and it's not necessarily saying no meat but less meat. 11 Madison Park announced a couple weeks ago that it's going vegan, so that's very significant when a Michelin-starred restaurant decides to skip meat on the menu. And then the Rancho Gordo is down there. That's a brand of heirloom beans. And I went online to try to join their bean club, and they have a waiting list. So they have completely sold out on their subscriptions. And also, if you try to buy beans, those are all sold out as well. That's what those blue dots are. So there's interest out there in plant proteins. So this is a great opportunity for olives and olive oil. It's not a fad. It's not we're here. This is going to stick around. We have to change. So we don't have a choice on this one. Most Americans don't know how to cook without meat and without butter and without cheese. So I think our challenge is going to be to help them out and show them how olives and olive oil can add so much flavor and appeal to dishes that are using little or no animal products, and will be better for the planet and also very healthy. So I think it's a question really of inspiration. And these pictures, I think, are inspiring. Beautiful salad with legumes and olives up there, pasta with olives, then this grain salad using green olives, and then the navy bean and escarole casserole that has olives in it. So I think this is the kind of stuff that's going to capture the imagination of people who are cooking and will help them to shift olives into the middle of the meal. So, as a snack, they are a great healthy snack, but there is a problem with this, and it has to do with the American psychology. Americans regard snacks as extra calories. They don't think of a snack as replacing other calories in the diet. They tend to be thought of as something that's added on. So, um, I think that emphasizing olives as a snack is a little tricky, and this is where I think we might do better to try to reposition them as part of the meal, because then they're no longer regarded as an extra, an add-on. That said, snack packs of olives, I think, can be a great addition to a work lunch as something to add to a salad, for example. So because they're so convenient, and that's something that we also, serving suggestion, make it part of your meal. Most Americans don't think of olives as healthy either. They don't realize that they have polyphenols, and we're talking now about naturally cured olives, of course. Polyphenols are a very hot topic in olive oil, but nobody talks about or at least most consumers don't understand that there are polyphenols in naturally cured table olives as well. So that's something that I think that will work in our favor. Also, the interest in fermented foods. And probiotics. That's a very big trend. There's an entire section of kombucha drinks in an average supermarket in California, mind you. But I'm talking about Safeway. I'm not talking about a Whole Foods or a health foods market. So live cultures in kimchi, sauerkraut, pickles, all that sort of stuff are it's popular and they're valued and they're sold in a cold case. So they're essentially a pretty new product to the American way of thinking. So this slide suffered something in electronic translation. I don't know why. And that is the point is salt is the elephant in the room. And we have to take into account that consumers, particularly older consumers, are going to be aware of the sodium content in olives. And this is something that we need to address. This again, if we talk about olives as an ingredient in a dish, then you can reduce the added salt and let the olives compensate for that and end up without a great deal of added sodium. You let it be a substitute instead. And then also, as a research issue, I think lower salt possibilities are something we need to look at. So polyphenols in table olives, I think that's a story we need to tell. Also, this perception of olives as being a snack or an appetizer, they are real food. They are a nutritious and natural plant product. The planetary footprint is very light for olives, which is an important thing. And I would say to the research and development side of things that we should be thinking about getting a lower sodium, if possible, olive with good probiotic content and phenol levels to the American consumer in grocery stores, because that's where most people are shopping. So when I thought about that, I thought, well, that might mean a product that needs to travel in a cold chain. So, and I know that does add cost, of course, and complication. So I zipped over to the Safeway and took a look at pickles, because those are sold both on the shelf. They're the ones on the left, are on the regular shelf, unrefrigerated, for 17 cents an ounce. And then kosher dill spears in a cold case, in a cold deli section, are sold for 25 cents an ounce. So it's something that we want to look at, we want to think about, and maybe there's a spot there for a product that gets olives out of the conventional, hot sterilized brine into a different medium that will permit more of the probiotics and so forth. Thank you. The part there that seems to have died in translation was showing you that I'm posting a lot of writing these days on a website called oliveoil.com. Easy to remember, and then email correspondence. You can see the address there. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the conference. I will be joining you hopefully later for the discussion.
Thank you very much, Alexandra, for sharing meaningful insights from the US market, the trends